Over the years, a question I got asked pretty regularly is why did you start supporting Liverpool? Because as you can hear from my accent, I'm obviously not from Liverpool. I'm not from England. And actually, my family doesn't follow football at all. So I really was the first in the family. And I'll tell you guys in this video why I started supporting Liverpool and why that love has only grown over time. So I grew up in Iceland. I lived in Iceland from around the ages of 5 to 9. And that's because my mother's side of the family, they're Icelandic. And in Iceland, the passion for football is unbelievable. There's a pitch in every single neighborhood. Every girl, every boy plays football. And since there isn't a professional league, there's some professional teams obviously with impressive history, like Coward, for example. They played Liverpool in their history, but it's pretty much an amateur league. Not that many are able to be professionals. And so everybody follows the Premier League. It is the league that absolutely every kid follows. And so given that I grew up, in Iceland, all the kids around me in school we would all where it first started genuinely as match attack cards. We all would collect these cards and we would trade with one another these cards. And it got me more curious about the game, you know what I mean? Because I would see all these different players, but I really knew nothing about football because I didn't grow up watching it. I mean, this is me at like 5, 6 years old. But what's crazy is I had a really close friend, Thorvaldur, my best friend, and he tried to get me to support United, and I never really seemed to care. And then I had another friend a bit later, and thought if you're watching this video, you're probably gonna be pissed. I had another friend that then showed me Liverpool, some videos of Liverpool, and when I watched, it was specifically celebrations of this man right here, Stevie G. I watched the celebrations because, again, I didn't really know anything about football, really. I was so young, but I saw the celebrations and I could see what it meant to him, like the pure emotion, just like the human level emotions. And when I saw those emotions from Stevie, it hooked me. I was like, wow. And then I just wanted to know more and more about the club. And I started supporting the club that way, thanks to my friend Bjartne. He's the one that showed me, initially. And then, like I said, I was just wanting to see more and more and more. And I remember I would try to find a way to get like the season reviews online so I could rewatch the whole previous seasons, every single match, because I just wanted to learn as much as I could. I would read about the history. I would get to know the older players. And, since we didn't have TV at home, I couldn't watch, every single game. But what I could watch, I would watch, So it wasn't until I moved to the US. When I was around 9 years old, I moved to New York. And when I moved to New York, there I could start watching the games. It was on NBC Sports. And I remember that's when, I was in this new environment where it was the polar opposite of Iceland, where at the time, nobody cared about football. In my class, no one watched football, really. And so I was by then so passionate about Liverpool and the Premier League and football. And I had no one really to share that passion with in the same way that I had in Iceland, because like I said, it was just the center of the world there. And so that's when I started this Instagram. It was about, what was the first date? I think I must have been around 12, 13 years old when I started the Instagram. And initially it was called Liverpool FC fan page. Then I started Liverpool Goals. But yeah, I just started posting on Instagram because I wanted to try to connect with Reds from around the world. Because like I said, I kind of lost that connection in person. And I was like, social media could be a great way to start meeting Reds. And that's where I started my journey, doing content. So it's been a long time. I've been doing this for over a decade. Obviously, it was mostly on Instagram before. But for me, it was just a genuine way as a kid just to connect with others, because I couldn't do that in the place that I lived. You know what I mean? In the way that I felt so passionate about it, where I would never miss a game at that stage. Like the moment I was able to get the coverage where there was the TV, I would watch every single game. And yeah, like that passion, like I would say the reason why it does mean so much to me is during those teenage years when was going through my most down moments, where I would say I was so going through difficult spells. And I would also have video games as kind of an escape. But for me, the biggest thing is Liverpool was that kind of hope that I would cling on to when I was going through those tough periods. And I would look to the team, and I would look forward to seeing Liverpool as a way to kind of feel more positive about life during a time when I wasn't feeling very positive. So I'll never forget what Liverpool meant to me beyond just the results the actual player, like what the football club means to me, I remember in those moments, and that's where like that's that feeling of turning to Liverpool as something to feel more positive about in down moments is why it means so much to me, and I know so why it means so much to so many of us, you know. And anyways, like from there, my passion only grew too, because the Instagram that I ended up, you know, moving on from the first Instagram that I did, and then I started another Instagram, Liverpool Goals, that I've now been running for over 10 years. I started that in, I think it was June or July of 2015. That only got me more involved because I was posting every single day around Liverpool related things. And so I was, you know, seeing everything that was happening with the club every single day. And let me tell you, for many, many years, it was not earning anything. So I was just doing, you know, I only ever wanted to do it out of pure passion. I never thought, oh, I could do content creation full time, or I would have this amount of followers or whatever. It was just, nah, like I loved it. And around 2000, I think it was 2014, right? I got to go to Anfield for the first time with my dad in 2014, yeah. And I remember that I met Ian Rush to Anfield, just like walking by, and just like being there, hearing "You'll Never Walk Alone," and this is why I mentioned Ian Rush, because I'll pull this picture up that shows like Ian Rush when I met him first when I came to Anfield in 2014, when I got the chance to go, and then when I saw him again in 2023, and just like I got to show him the picture, and he loved seeing that because, yeah, obviously he couldn't remember me, it was so long ago, but I just told him a bit about the journey and stuff, and he was, yeah, he was class. But yeah, so that was the kind of the first time. But as I said, like over time, that passion has only grown, because also through that Instagram, it allowed me to meet so many people around the world that also have that passion for Liverpool Football Club. And so I made friends all over the place. And of course, that only grows your love of it. Because like I said, that for me goes beyond just the results or how the team is doing now or who the manager is. It's what the football club represents and the community around it. And that for me is what I hold dear. Like that's what I always remind myself of, that there's this like bigger community family that we have around this club that is so incredibly special, because I'm not so sure that there's many things around the world where you can just go to a random country, random city, and I could do a story, for example, and just say, are there any Reds here? And I just meet some people there, and immediately we have something in common. So it's not like awkward meeting people. You know what I mean? And that unifier, I mean, I think that's football in general. That's not just Liverpool, but I think also Liverpool, the reason it is so special is because of how much people care about this football club, no matter where we're from. You know what I mean? That's what makes it so special, I think. But yeah, so I would really say that then over time, that passion only grew, and the connection to the club only grew, because like I said, I was doing more and more content, and you know, it's gone to the stage now where I can say it's full time, which is incredible. But like I said, when I started, I did not imagine that. I just had this crazy passion, and I was growing up, you know, I lived till my early 20s in New York. I was growing up in a city that didn't care about, you know, there is obviously, you know, Liverpool pubs and stuff like that, but it's not to the level, like I said, of what I was used to in Iceland, for example, or in Europe. So for me, I just needed that way to connect, and the online world was a way to do that. And that's why I started that Instagram. I was just a kid, you know? And like I said, I've just grown that over time. And then I didn't start YouTube till quite a bit later. And I'm glad about that, because I think it was good to just continue to mature. And that was a faceless account. And I think it wasn't until I was maybe 19, 20 that I started to put a face to the page, or maybe 21. And by then, like I was more mature to be able to deal with negative comments and, you know, people going at you and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of the story. It all started from this man, Stevie. As you can see, he's up here too, Stevie. And yeah, he's really, like I said, he embodied something that was bigger than football in some ways, I would say, because like I said, the first moments where I got to see him, and it was specifically certain celebrations, I saw that raw emotion. And as a kid, I remember feeling something like, wow, whatever this is, it means a lot to this person. I had no idea who Stevie was. Like I didn't. I was what, five, no, I was 6, 7. I'm not exactly sure the age, but I just like that raw emotion. I just felt so intrigued by it and curious. And so I wanted to know more and I wanted to be part of it. And like I said, that was what drew me in. And then obviously I got to see lots more moments from Stevie, and that's why he's always going to be my favorite player of all time. Like for me, no one's ever going to top that. And I think anybody who has like a childhood hero type of thing would say the same thing. And that's one of the most special parts of the the journey that I've had since I've started, creating content and creating a community online, was when I got to meet Stevie, and it was unbelievable. And it was in such an incredible setting too, because during COVID, I developed a friendship with Jose Enrique, former Liverpool player, the left back, and and he invited me to come for for one of the Legends games he was playing in, and it was in that environment that I got to meet Stevie. So it was literally at the training ground when the Legends were training at the training ground, and he used to play back in the day. Jose played with Stevie, so when I met Stevie, I was there with Jose, and it was just the three of us talking there, and that's a memory I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life, because it wasn't like I met him just like outside someplace. It was like kind of in an intimate setting where there was just like the players' families and stuff. And I got to speak to him and Jose, like the three of us there. And it was just, I've never been that like kind of speechless, where it's just like, what is going on right now? Like when I initially saw him going down the stairs of the AXA training ground, I like didn't want to go to him because I was just so like, in awe, and I didn't think I could speak, but obviously then I calmed down a bit. But yeah, that was one of the most special moments that, like I said, I'll forever cherish. That goes way beyond any expectation that I could have, hoped for, just starting that page when I was 12, 13. And then it only grew from there. But like I said, since that day and to this day now, I'm 26 years old. I've never woken up a single day and been like, oh, I don't feel like creating. Sometimes I'm just tired, and that's not related to actually creating content. But there's never been a day I've woken up and I've been like, I don't want to do this. Like, it's just such a passion that no matter what, during the ups and downs, I want to be there because of how much it means, and I know that's how many Reds around the world feel too. And that's what I think is so special about this club. How for me, and I know some people are going to say glory hunter this, glory hunter that. For me, like, that's what I love about football, the fact that it brings so many of us together from all around the world. And I know there's many scousers, I know there's many people from Liverpool that love that aspect of it too, so long as you fully support the club. And I've seen so many examples, like my boy Mario. He's not from Liverpool, he moved there, he now has a Scouse wife, Scouse kids. Like, just because you're not from Liverpool doesn't mean that this club can't mean so much to you. You know what I mean? And that you're not going to support it till the day you die. And that's what I'm definitely going to be. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's a little bit into the story as to why I started supporting this club, and why it will be a journey till the day I die. I'm sure of it. It will be. And I know, like I said, many Reds around the world that I've met that are on that same level of passion, where it's something that's going to be with them forever. And they've met people from all around the world thanks to it. And that's what, for me, is the most special thing about Liverpool, about football. So anyways, there's a story, you guys, for those of you that were wondering. And yeah, thank you for taking the time to watch the videos. As always, I will continue on a daily basis with these free flow videos. They're so much fun because they're a bit different to the other channel. And also to continue working on trying to do more longer form videos. So I appreciate all of you guys for your support. I see all the support. It means the world. And the more you support this channel and the channels in general, the more I will work to do content consistently. So thank you guys. You'll never walk alone. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, guys.